Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, cash for clematis. Foxhound packs are selling flowers for funds for the Countryside Alliance. Britain's biggest young shots event comes to Bredon School in Gloucestershire. It's the Schools Challenge. We're in Hampshire after roebuck, and we're in Sussex using the latest thermal imaging techniques to find deer. First, a couple of weeks ago, Phil Spencer from Channel 4's Location was guest presenter on this programme. I felt very replaced. We took him pigeon shooting in Kent, and then after his first deer, which he shot and cooked and ate. The Daily Mail was not at all happy. They fielded no less than 3 anti-shooting organisations' comments in their paper condemning Phil for being bloodthirsty. Well, we say, good on you, Phil. There are plenty more shooting celebrities coming out and supporting Fieldsports in the next few months. First, one of our very own celebrities, Roy Lupton, is in Hampshire looking for roebuck. After sleeping in his car after a late night finish fox shooting in Kent, Roy has woken up in the Kingsclere estate in Hampshire.
This morning we're after cull animals. The good deer here are sold out to bring in more income to the estate. So it's our job this morning just to go out and take a few cull animals. So we're looking for young bucks or any older bucks that are past prime.
He usually brings his eagles here to hunt and to attend open days when the public can learn more about these incredible birds. But today he's been tasked with trying to find some of the less impressive roebucks, and instead of raptors, he's using a rifle. In previous years he's found that deer have tended to be in the open and not tucked up in the pockets of woodland. However, the weather is bright and the wind is really chilly. We head into a block of woodland to see what we can see. Stalking, though, would be impossible as the dry twigs underfoot give the game away with every step. As we wait, we see a hare, and then some deer, but they move away, not towards us. Roy takes the opportunity to tell us about his new sticks made by his friend Derek O'Dowling from Kentish Sticks.
These quad sticks were made by a friend of mine that's just down the road, and he's made a fantastic set of sticks for us. He's a professional stick maker by trade, and I first used quad sticks many years ago when I was stalking in Austria, and they had them, and we used them whilst we were chamois hunting. But for a safe, steady shot, they're absolutely superb because you've got 2 points of support on the rifle. Then all you've got to do is just lean forward or lean back for your elevation and just move the sticks around as you turn so as you can acquire your aim point. They really do hold you steady, and I find as I'm getting older, the legs are not quite as stable as they used to be. So with our traditional bipod sticks or the tripod sticks, you've only got 1 point that the rifle is touching. With those, I find that you get a lot more movement when you're trying to take a longer shot standing up. But with these, I mean, they're fantastic for taking on a longer shot. They're fantastic for taking on a shot that you're proficient at. But it's almost as stable as having your rifle on a bipod once you learn to use them properly.
We decide to move to the other side of the estate and we spot a lone doe. At least she's venturing out as the temperature rises. Finally, Roy spots a young buck and a doe at the bottom of a field. He's looking straight at us. Roy takes his chance and he's down. With us today is Cooney. She is a multitasking sort of dog, but with the harness on she knows that her mind should be on deer.
Obviously we've just shot a roebuck. He dropped on the spot, so we don't really need the dog, but it's we're just bringing the dog on. She's not overly experienced with deer work, so all we're going to do is take her across the wind and just let her pick up the scent and just work us into it. So it just reinforces it for her. So we're just going to give her a trot across there and see if she hopefully she does her job. She better do. I think she's suffering this morning as well. She had to get up early. Hey, good. Starting to pick up a bit of scent there. When obviously the deer have just been out across here feeding, and we're not following a specific blood trail, but hopefully she's just picking up a bit of air scent of the deer. Yeah, there we go. Good girl. What we got? you normally start them on the exit of the outshot, and then they can follow the blood trail up, so they've got a definite trail. With that one, all I wanted to do was just come across and pick up the air scent of the deer, because we obviously knew where it was. But it's really just to enforce everything with the dog, so she knows when she comes out, as soon as the harness comes on, then we're looking for deer. So, you know, every possibility we do get, it just reinforces the training.
He's a young buck, not in the best of condition, and possibly punching above his weight with a doe in tow, so a perfect animal for Roy to take to help maintain the health of the herd.
If you look at him, he's not a particularly good deer. I mean, obviously he's got a very small body size, but for the time of year he's very skinny, so he's you know, absolutely perfect animal to take out as part of the cull.
Roy opted for a headshot for this deer, something he normally avoids. So what was different here?
Ethically, you've got to be very careful about deciding to take a headshot when you're working in the wild with parkland stalking, when you're culling, etc. Then obviously, you know, we use head and neck shots an awful lot when we're out stalking, and we obviously haven't got the if you like the comfort of having all the deer enclosed in a fenced area when we're culling. In that sort of environment, if a shot goes wrong, then you can normally follow the shot up quite quickly. Here, if you did make a mistake with a shot like that, then the deer could get into the wood and disappear. So that's not what you want. But I wouldn't take a shot like that unless I was 100% confident.
And Roy's tip for the day: always have wipes in your car,
especially when you forget your gloves. So it's always good to have something in reserve. So, and also if you're sleeping in the car overnight, they come in handy, but these are a bit rough.
We head back to the farm in the middle of the estate to meet with Tim and May, who runs Kingsclere. As well as Golden Eagle events, shooting and a corporate venue, it also hosts weddings in a converted barn.
You get the young kids that want to sort of come and see these big impressive birds, and you get the older guys that want to take pictures, and then everything in between. And it's a really unique package.
Roy was hoping for at least 2 bucks today, so how does he feel it went?
Normally when you're stalking out here, it's fantastic because all the deer are out in the fields, and you can get some beautiful stalking over the contours of the ground. This morning they were all tucked up. This little fella was just couched up, obviously just on the edge of a plantation there, and it was quite good to get him as well because they've been causing a lot of damage to the coppice stalls in there. So that was one of the ones that we really needed to get on top of. But obviously with the cold wind, all the other deer weren't out, so they were all tucked up nice and warm in the woods. So it was proving a little bit difficult this morning.
Maybe Roy needs a little helping hand from a new bit of kit from FLIR, FLIR. In fact, it's the first in the UK. Let's go to Sporting Shooter magazine editor Dom Holtam, who is feeling and seeing the heat on his stalking ground in Sussex.
Okay, so you might remember this piece of kit from our show report at Ewa in Germany. This is the FLIR Scout. This is a consumer grade forward-looking infrared FLIR thermal imaging device. And this is the first one in the UK. We're going to go and have a bit of a play with it. We've linked up with a hot shoe, which is an optional extra, and that should allow us to feed the output straight into the camera. And we're going to put it through its paces and see if it's living up to its billing. We were quite impressed with it when we tried it at the show, mostly because it made us feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. But let's see if it does the job in the field. So we've literally walked into the first field, and straight away I've got hot spots on the thing. You can see the white spots, you can see the trees clearly standing out. It's got a digital zoom on it, so, and it's also got different modes. So here I'm going into black mode, which is black hot. That's called Insta Alert, so it makes it the hotspots red, so it's very easy to pick them up if you're scanning the background. Various different intensities, and then the traditional white hot. So there again, that's the zoom facility, zooming into 2 times, zooming out for a wider field of view, so we know we've got animals down there. difficult to gauge the range, but looking at the trees, it's probably 300 or 400 yards. So we'll try and stalk into them a bit closer and have a look. One of the downsides of the device is that obviously when you've got one eye to the eyepiece, it makes a bit of a mess of your night vision. It feels a bit alien then. You've lost your binocular vision, your night vision, but it's not too bad. Also, the hard thing is to realise that when you walk off the path, you're quite easily stumbling through bracken like we are at the moment. So one of the things that they say this device is good for is for detecting poachers. You know, if you work on a big estate and you want to know who's on the ground, it has much bigger recognition ranges than a typical night vision device, which might only be able to pick up something 300, 400 metres away, even if you use an infrared illuminator. This doesn't need that because it works on infrared. Here you can see that even though we're looking through foliage, the heat signature of the deer is very, very clear. The other side, you know, again, if this was a traditional image intensifier, if it was shielded by foliage, you wouldn't be able to see the animal at all. You might get a reflection from the eyes. If it was looking straight towards you, I think you'd really struggle, whereas it is very, very clear. And of course, it doesn't have to be an animal. It could be an intruder. You could be checking your livestock. You could be, checking the whereabouts of a particular animal or a particular herd. It's not the first time I've taken it out. We tried it on some smaller animals, pheasants, hares, rabbits, and at close ranges it was pretty good. But as the range started to chip out, you really did, if the hares, especially if they sat down in the field, you'd lose that heat signature. With deer at longer ranges, again, there were some issues, especially with the smaller species like roe. These are fallow deer that we've been watching today. Bigger animals, obviously a big heat signature, and it has performed really, really well out here tonight. Instantly, just scanning around the open ground, you can see where the animals are. We got to, I suppose, about 40 or 50 yards from animals with the wind in our favour, and we weren't particularly stealthy because obviously we've got a camera, we've got the light coming out of the recording devices, but even with very basic stalking skills, the animals were oblivious that we were there. If you were being really stealthy and you wanted to stay hidden, no one need know you're ever around, and you can see exactly who's coming and going on your ground, what animals you've got. One of my thoughts was, for someone like me who's into wild boar hunting, if you wanted to see how many animals you've got, obviously they're nocturnal, you're not going to be able to find them easily during the daytime, but with this, you could easily sit out of the way or walk through the block of woodland, scanning. Again, big animal, big heat signature, it's going to pick them up really easily. Even through the foliage, as we saw earlier, scanning through branches, the animals moving behind them, it'll still pick them up. So, pretty impressive. Of course, quality costs. They're not cheap, these things. Even the entry level model is going to be around the £3,000 mark. This is one of the top spec ones. This is closer to 5,000. You can easily spend the thick end of £7,000 on the top of the range one of these. But you have to remember that a few years ago these were well over £10,000. The rate that technology is going, the speed with which they're developing, and the potential that these systems have, I think it's only a matter of time before consumer demand and increases in technology are going to drive that down to a much more affordable level. It's happened with night vision, with traditional image intensifiers. It's going to happen with this. And if I had to choose between the two, I think this wins hands down.
Well, the trouble with our sporters is either very dark, like that, or it's green, like this, and all that. Well, we're going to see some colour now, because foxhound packs in Gloucestershire are raising money for the Countryside Alliance and other charities by selling flowers. There's something strange going on in Gloucestershire. Local hunts have been growing flowers. Thousands and thousands of flowers.
All the local hunts have donated about 24,000 plants, some very rare, and they will all be sold by the different hunts. We are actually putting them into stalls. Then we've got a big shopping mall with live ducks, live chickens, and lots of other stalls to do with country matters, gardening matters. So there will be lots going on.
The sale takes place at Charlotte's home, Eyford House.
It's really it's setting as much as anything. I mean, it sits in the middle of the Cotswolds, high up in the hills, with beautiful serpentine lakes, which were made in 1860 by the person who originally built it. This house actually was built in 1910 from the stone which was built in 1860 from the original house. And you can look for 12 miles and you don't see one twinkling light, or even a light from a town or anything like that. It is completely countryside.
But this is no ordinary flower sale. It's a massive fundraiser, both for the Countryside Alliance and ABF, the Soldiers' Charity.
If you think about it, soldiers that leave the army don't always manage to find a job and find a secure environment and on they go. There is a significant minority of people who have been in the army for a short time, long time, who need a bit of help. And we're there as a safety net to make certain that whatever their need may be, it can be dealt with.
And the sale is good for the profile of local hunts and for the Countryside Alliance.
The plant sale will be another great opportunity, as many Alliance events are. People will come together, they'll see their friends, they'll have a really great day out. Hopefully they'll spend some money and buy some plants, which will be at great prices. They'll get some really good bargains. And I think it's just a real coming together of all that's good about the countryside. And where we've got the hunts that have done so much to grow these plants, I mean, you know, they've been working hard all winter, and it'll be a culmination of a huge amount of activity. And it's just great. It really does bring everyone together, and I think that's incredibly important.
The Countryside Alliance is raising money to lobby and fight for people like Julian, who has been persecuted since the ban came in.
Repeal to me means everything, and my life is made a misery by vigilantes, really, that follow us every day and film us while we're out trail hunting, make allegations to the police, and I get constant police visits. You know, this what this law has done. It's made law-abiding people into potential criminals.
Organising the flower show has been hard work for committee members Liz Wills and Jane Lloyd, but you get the feeling they're enjoying it. For more information, visit www.countrysidealliance.org. Staying in Gloucestershire, let's go to Bredon School near Tewkesbury for the Schools Challenge. Britain's premier Young Shots event is back. Back in March, Fieldsports Britain episode 69 covered the Oxford Gun Company round of the Schools Challenge. On the May Day weekend, the competition moves to Bredon School near Tewkesbury.
Wake forward. The point of the Schools Challenge is it's there to encourage new people to get into shooting. I know there is a lot of prizes up for grabs, there's a lot of money's worth up for grabs, but it's aimed at the new shooter. It's aimed to get new people in, to encourage them. It's fun. We've got lots of different things. We've got the seal and welly wanging, we've got the air rifles, we've got the Browning Rabbit Mania, but it's fun. Okay, it's got a serious side to it, and there's guns up for grabs and that sort of thing, but it's fun. You want even the youngsters, the 10-year-olds, to come away with 25 out of 50, maybe 30 out of 50. Whatever happens, the top people are always going to shoot a high score, whether you make it hard or easy. And you want people to go away enjoying it. You want people to go away hitting clays.
More than 150 kids from schools and colleges around the country come to Bredon to take part in the Schools Challenge. The atmosphere is relaxed, but hey, what am I saying? These are kids. It's competitive.
I'm here to win. Yeah, and I shot the Oxford one last time and I really enjoyed it, so I've come back to do it again.
I've already done my round. It's quite windy, the clays are moving a lot.
Bredon always seems to be windy, but that's the story of it. I mean, if it's windy, it's the same for everyone.
Very windy.
The clays are taken to the wind. They're really going off course.
Well, it's quite windy for my liking, but I suppose I can try and work around that.
Never mind the wind, the latest round of the Schools Challenge brings together more than 150 kids from around Britain to compete in a clay competition with thousands of pounds worth of prizes.
Cool.
It's all very well saying that this is not a high-pressure competition, but some of these young people have come here to win. Here is last year's lady winner.
Not too well actually. I got 6 on the full shoot and 15 on the rabbit mania, so I'll have another go later.
None of this would happen without a school that puts shooting at the heart of its curriculum.
I'm using a Browning 12 bore there, which is given to the school as because we're sponsored by Browning, so get a gun from the school, which is good.
The big thing about shooting is it encourages them to be independent, and a lot of children we teach here aren't particularly team players, and they excel at individual sports like shooting. It's also very good for hand and eye coordination.
And nor would it happen without the generous sponsorship of companies.
Given that shooting is part of the countryside, the NFU is the voice of farming, and in addition to our farming members we also have NFU Countryside, which is another element of NFU membership, and it's good synergy, it fits well.
Well, Browning have always, particularly under my leadership, have pioneered sort of shooting with the younger kids coming through, getting them on board early onto the brand and supporting them, and we find this a fantastic way of sort of meeting the younger shooters and encouraging them in the sport and bringing them through.
So it's part of a 3 series, and we sponsor all 3. And just Land Rover is so synonymous with the country, and we feel that we can promote the benefits of what Land Rover do to all the guys and girls that go on to in the shooting competitions.
The shooting market is a very good market for us. The countryside market is where these machines are aimed at. They're not a town vehicle, and so getting to the countryside environment and being able to show the machine in its natural state is the best way of effectively selling the machine.
So who is in line to win all those prizes this year? There are separate prizes for the Browning Rabbit Mania. At last it's time to head to Bredon School's impressive main building to hear who the winners are. The winning prep school team is Molesford Prep in Oxfordshire. The winning prep individual with a score of 42 is Taylor Hedgecock from Soham Village College in Cambridgeshire. Top ladies prize goes to Amber Hill from Clare's Court in Berkshire with a score of 36. There is even a prize this year for welly wanging, and this goes to Jack Bonner of Bredon School. The top prize for the winning team goes to Warwickshire College with a combined score of 171. And the overall Browning Champion of Champions is James Ward of West Buckland in Devon with a score of 84. The verdict on the day. Let's leave the last word to organiser David Florent.
It's been a great success. I think we've had a college or school won it that's never won it before, which is always a bonus. We had somebody that won the Champion of Champion, which has never won it before.
just whoever's going to do some shooting, it's really good fun, and don't give up, even if you don't shoot much.